Right, let's just dive right into this explainer with a pretty harsh truth from our source material. Human beings, we actually like to sit and stew in our own sadness. It's wild, but it's true. But here's the massive wake-up call. Doctors and psychologists, they all agree that holding on to worry literally shortens your life. It physically damages your body, it's a total biological drain. But, and this is the good news, the whole core idea here that's so simple it's profound, your expectations actually shape your reality. If you expect to fail, you're gonna fail. If you expect to win, well, you're gonna win.
So, I've got a direct question for you, right out of the gate. Are you planting seeds of positivity or negativity in your own mind? Because look, your life is just going to give you back more of whatever it is you plant. If you're constantly planting seeds of doubt, guessing that things just won't work out, guess what? That is exactly what you're going to harvest. The main takeaway we're unpacking today is that happiness isn't just some passive state that magically happens to lucky people. No way. It's an active, daily choice that we literally have to aggressively cultivate.
In this explainer, we're diving deep into Norman Vincent Peale's classic concepts from the power of positive thinking, but we're looking at them through a modern, real-world lens. We're not just talking abstract inspiration here. We are putting together a highly actionable mental resilience toolkit. We're going to look at practical, boots-on-the-ground ways to crush anxiety, pull yourself out of mental ruts, and essentially rewire exactly how your brain processes stress.
Okay, let's take a quick look at the agenda. As you'll see, this builds into a really cohesive 5-part guide. 1. Choosing your own happiness. 2. The antidote to anxiety. 3. Expecting the best outcomes. 4. Solving problems through peace. And 5. How to handle heartache. Let's get into it.
Section 1. Choosing your own happiness. Forcing the habit.
So, the source makes a great point here. Unhappiness is usually just a byproduct of dwelling on the negative. Holding on to resentment or just keeping up a pessimistic outlook. We really have to take absolute responsibility for what's going on inside our own heads. So how do we actually do that? Well, it starts with a simple 3-step process. Step 1, you've got to recognize when your brain is forcing you to dwell on the negative. Like, are you gossiping, feeling guilty, getting angry? Catch yourself. Step 2 is absolutely crucial. Force productive action to short-circuit that negativity. Throw on some upbeat music, drag yourself to the gym, go hang out with friends who are guaranteed to make you laugh. Now, I know at first this feels so weird. It feels incredibly forced, maybe even a little ridiculous, because, well, you are forcing it. But stick with it, because eventually it kicks in. And then step 3, intentionally open your eyes to the simple beauties around you. The sun on your skin, the birds chirping. Acknowledging those little things builds what Peale calls the happiness habit until it just naturally takes over the steering wheel.
Moving on to Section 2, the antidote to anxiety, focusing your energy.
Now, to handle this modern plague of anxiety that's just draining our mental batteries, the source leans on Stephen Covey's famous principle. It's all about the contrast between the circle of concern and the circle of influence. Think about how much time people waste just fuming and fretting over their circle of concern, literally things they have zero control over. It's wild. This is a huge reminder that we have to focus our mind's energy exclusively on our circle of influence. Bottom line, if you can't affect it, you just have to move on and stop letting your brain pay rent in that space.
And to physically flush that anxiety out of your system, the source prescribes a very specific magic number, 15. You need to carve out at least 15 minutes every single day to completely disconnect your mind from the daily grind. And no, this isn't just about taking a nap, it's an active practice while you're awake. You close your eyes and spend 15 solid minutes visualizing a beautiful, perfectly peaceful setting. Just picture yourself on a beach vacation, like really smell the ocean, feel the warm sand on your feet, imagine diving into the water. Whether you use this 15 minutes to meditate, do some yoga, or literally just hide in the office break room and visualize peace, this daily reset is your ultimate antidote to anxiety.
All right, Section 3, expecting the best outcomes, from worry to hope.
To really ground this idea, the speaker shares this super powerful personal story about living at a constant 4 out of 8 on the life satisfaction scale. They were actually having crippling physical symptoms just from pure worry. We're talking chest pains, heart palpitations, literally couldn't sleep. They'd wake up and instantly jump from a stress level 3 to a 4, day in, day out. Brutal, right? So to combat that physical toll, they highlight an amazing visualization technique called the mental drain. Because remember, holding on to worry literally damages your body. We have to clear our heads before sleep. The idea is you actively imagine your worries flowing right out of your body, exactly like water pouring out of a tipped-over glass. You literally empty yourself out right before your head hits the pillow.
But here's the thing. To truly cross the bridge from worry to hope, the speaker realized they couldn't just have an empty mind. They needed a roadmap. They actually managed to replace all that fear with hope by building a plan around 3 very specific types of goals: financial, health, and professional. By forcing themselves to get excited about what they were actually going to do with their life, they literally built their own exit route out of the mess. Those goals became like a beacon, totally replacing that empty void of anxiety with the unstoppable driving force of hope.
Now, pulling this off requires the ultimate mindset shift. You have to tell yourself, this isn't a setback, it's a setup. When you lock into that positive framework, you suddenly realize something huge. Life doesn't happen for you. Wait, scratch that. Life doesn't happen to you. It happens for you. Every single bad situation, every failure you've had, it's there for a reason. It's there to teach you a lesson and make you sharper. You basically stop playing the victim and you start hunting for the hidden advantage in every single hurdle. It's a total game changer.
Which brings us to Section 4, Solving Problems Through Peace, Seeking Inspiration.
Now, obviously, as we're chasing down these new goals, roadblocks are going to pop up. It's inevitable. And human nature? Well, human nature tells us to absolutely panic. We start screaming, "I need an answer by Saturday at noon," or the whole thing falls apart. But the source explicitly warns us against trying to force a solution out of sheer frustration. Instead, try these distilled techniques. First, gather all the relevant facts. Get crystal clear on the reality of the situation. Second, maintain your serenity. Keep your cool. Do not let anger or anxiety take the wheel. Third, don't force that immediate answer. You've got to let your subconscious do some of the heavy lifting. Step away from the crazy busyness of the day, go for a walk in nature, maybe put on some music and just let your mind wander. And finally, when that inspired thought inevitably just drops into your brain out of nowhere, immediately pull out your phone and write it down. Basically, you're letting the solutions reveal themselves to you, rather than hunting them down.
And finally, Section 5, How to Handle Heartache, Returning to Life.
Look, whether it's a brutal breakup, a divorce, the loss of someone you love, or just a massive crushing personal defeat, heartache is universal. It is so tough, but literally everyone faces it eventually. To truly handle it, we have to look at this stark fork in the road. Now, obviously, we absolutely must give ourselves the grace to be sad for a bit and process that pain. That's a given. But look at the two paths here. If your reaction is just dwelling and brooding, feeling sorry for yourself, the outcome is that you are letting that heartache win. It takes control of you. But if your action is getting back to your normal activities as soon as humanly possible, the outcome is that you're actively resisting the pain. You have to force yourself back into the gym, get back to eating right, dive back into your work, and go hang out with your friends. Staying busy is exactly how you heal and pull yourself back into the land of the living.
And that brings us to the end of this explainer. You now have a very real, highly effective toolkit to short-circuit that negative self-talk, drain away your anxiety, replace all that worry with goal-driven hope, solve your problems peacefully, and conquer heartache by staying active. You completely have the power to control your mindset. So I'm going to leave you with this final empowering thought to chew on today. If life truly happens for you, and every single setback is actually just a setup, what are you going to do with it?